And I was just getting irritated, like
Yeah.
too easy. Like life's too short to be irritated by that stuff. So I was like, all right, so I'm aware now. Now I need to do something about it. So that's the intention. And so I need to figure out a plan.
What is up, everybody? And welcome back to the Schooling Struggle Podcast. It is our belief that the only guarantee in life is that we are all going to struggle, and how we choose to embrace our struggles is what empowers us to become the best versions of ourselves. How is it going? My name is Pete, coming to you from Heartland, Vermont. And with me, back in action, is my friend and co-host, Mr. Todd Ellis, coming from a covert location.
Ooh.
Who doesn't have his normal background. Where are you?
I'm in the shop. I'm out in the shop. The wife is sleeping, so I decided to go remote. So I'm out here in the 40-degree weather with my flip-flops on, ready to rock.
So your wife and your grandchild were asleep in the room that you normally record in?
Correct.
So is the shop a different outbuilding on your property?
Yep. And I recently extended my my internet with the mesh network, so it seems like it's working all right, although the sound may be a little off. But
yeah, sounds a little muffly, but we'll see how it comes on the post-production.
We shall see.
Awesome.
How you doing?
I'm hanging in.
Just hanging?
I got these back spasms that are going on.
Uh-oh, better be prepared.
I know.
Some snatches coming.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So I prepare all year for this competition, and a week before everything is supposed to go down, my back starts to spasm up. So I don't know, just trying to be smart, figure it out.
Yeah.
It's going to kind of come into the conversation a little bit tonight based on what I have planned. But speaking on what I have planned.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
We were talking about our lives via text, and you were saying that your life is feeling a little more balanced these days. And then you just dropped a quick, oh, and I got a job.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I want to hear about this, but I actually want to hear about it after we hit record. So I know nothing about the fact that you have a job other than you sent me a text that says, oh, and I have a job. So what do you have going on?
True Todd fashion. Oh, by the way, I got a job. Well, Peter, it's been nearly a year since I've worked in any meaningful capacity for any kind of compensation. So as I watch my health savings account dwindle, because health insurance for my family runs about $2,000 a month, which don't get me started on that. But lucky me, being unemployed, you can use your health savings account tax-free to pay for your COBRA incentive, which is the continuation of benefits you had at your previous employer if you claim unemployment. So I've been paying for that, for the last, 5 months maybe. And I was just getting tired of it. And then I'm going stir crazy because a lot of the home improvement stuff that I got home is finishing up. And so I decided to hit up a couple. I've been applying for jobs for a year almost, right? And ghosted on plenty. Had a couple informationals, a couple interviews, but nothing in the industry that was going to work. And so I decided, there's a gal at our gym, her name's Heidi. She loves working at Costco. She's worked there for like 30 years. And she works at the Lens location that makes all the eyeglasses locally. And she can't say enough good things about it. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so every time I'm at Costco, the people always seem so happy and so, energetic, and, they're walking down the aisles, high-fiving each other. And I thought, well, let's put in an application at Costco. So I put in an application at Costco, and lo and behold, they called me back the next day. And I thought, oh, this is crazy. And so, me, I'm just kind of like, oh, if the stars align, we'll just chase it. So I went to a interview loop there. It's at the Costco Distribution Center in Sumner, Washington, which services 52 retail warehouses. So it's like, I'll send you a picture, but it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, you can imagine a warehouse, but imagine a warehouse that you can't see the other end of the warehouse. And when you look down, they have this corridor, they call it I-5 because Interstate 5 runs close to us. But there are pallet jacks and forklifts as far as the eye can see crossing this corridor just crazily. So one side, all the wholesalers come in and they back up their tractor trailers. These people unload it, and then it goes to one of 52 slots where all the different stores are. And so people are just crossing with these pallet jacks. And it's not a regular pallet jack. Like, these pallet jacks hold 6 pallets at a time, long-wise, right? So you can imagine what's that, 25 feet long, right? And these things are just whizzing all over the place. And then over here, they got all the returns. And over here, they got the alcohol. And then over here, they got tobacco. And it's just it's madness. It's just madness. And I thought, oh, I could do this. And so I wholeheartedly said, yeah, I'll join up. So tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, I begin orientation for a couple hours. Had to go out and find me some steel-toed shoes. Haven't done anything like that in a long time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to something different, something new, and the health insurance. So it's a part-time gig. I'm not even sure what my hours are going to be. I don't really know anything about it other than I went there and I said, sure, I'll do this. And they said, all right, let's go. And so that's where I'm at.
Oh, congratulations.
Hey, thanks. We'll see.
Just to give some people in the Upper Valley, that's the nickname of the area where I live, a little bit of reference. Costco is the same thing as BJ's, or the same business setup. So when Todd is talking about Costco, you can just picture the BJ's that's in West Leb where we live.
Wow.
And it's funny that you said a warehouse, because I think of Costco as a warehouse. So this is a warehouse that supplies warehouses.
Correct. And then like on the far end of the warehouse that supplies warehouses, when COVID hit, they decided they were going to keep on trucking and pushed out to another location. So that's what they have, like the holdover stuff. And as we walked, it took 30 minutes to walk from one end to the other of this place. And it's just massive. And I get down there and I look from floor to ceiling and there is toilet paper. And I thought, well, that's weird. She's like, yeah, well, there was a run on toilet paper during COVID and we're not going to have that problem again. I mean, it's just a massive amount of toilet paper and things they can buy for cheap and then hold over. That's what they do on this side. So the side I'll be working in, at least initially, is called the dry side. That's where all the dry goods go. And then across the street, they have an equal warehouse that's refrigerated and frozen, and they call it the wet side. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. We'll see.
So real brief, what did you sign up for? What are your duties, or what's your job position?
Here's the funny part. It'll be working on that floor somewhere. And all of the people that I've known in the last, 10, 15 years, being in the industry of IT, there's a certain level of like, oh, you make a lot of money, and oh, you do this and that. And when I went in and I had the final interview with the GM at the place, he says, so what is it that you would like to do here? And I said, well, I want to start at the very bottom and I want to work my way up. So I know all the things, and nobody looks down at you like, oh, you don't know what you're doing, you're going to hire whatever. And so I told my wife that, and she told our circle of friends at CrossFit, and they're like, why does Todd always have to go for the hardest thing ever? Like, why don't you just get a job, that's going to pay you, somewhat what you got before? No, I'm just going to go make $21 an hour and do the hardest menial labor you can find. And so it's the running joke now, like, oh, you got a job at Costco, you'll be washing toilets. And I was like, whatever it takes. I don't really care as long as I get the benefits. So it doesn't really matter to me. So
that's what I love about you. And
freedom.
Yeah. And you talk about the benefits, but the benefit is what you're gonna learn.
Yeah, obviously.
Apply that.
That's how I look at it. And they're just like, that's cool. Crazy. I'm like, whatever. So I'll get a forklift certification out of it. Things that I would have never thought in life, especially at almost 48 years old. That I'm going to be doing. So that's awesome. That's it.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah,
cool.
Thanks.
As listeners know, you and I share text correspondence on pretty much a daily basis. I have also shared with the listeners that over the last couple of months that you've been sharing pictures with me of the house projects that you're referring to.
Oh, yeah.
You've been doing some really nice projects out in your yard and doing different things. And when we first met and we first started the podcast, you were religiously using your hot tub as part of your daily routine. And at some point along the line, the hot tub went away.
Yep.
And I was surprised by that because I thought it was such an integral part of your day. As you continue to beef up and buff up your backyard, you got yourself a new hot tub, and Indeed. you built is it a gazebo that the hot tub is inside of? Yep. And you sent me pictures of that, which is awesome. I love that you built your own gazebo. And then this past week, you sent me a text of the hot tub in the gazebo, and it said, balance in Todd's life has been restored since filling up the hot tub. Oh, and by the way, I got a job. And it's interesting because that's actually something in a way that I've been working through lately. Mm-hmm. So that's what I want tonight's focus to be on, is balancing or restoring ourselves. And where I want to use as a launching point is I recently watched a documentary about this guy named Anders Hoffman from Denmark. And he set out to be the first person to complete a triathlon, an Ironman triathlon on the continents of Antarctica. And he assembled this team of people that were going to go over to Antarctica and help him with the swim portion and the bike portion and the run portion. The documentary, a lot of it was focusing on the preparation for this thing.
No one had ever completed a triathlon in Antarctica before. This is going to be the
Yeah.
first attempt. He was just going to do it by himself.
Obvious reason.
And he had this team of people to help him, and his brother signed on to help him out. And in the documentary, in preparation for this thing, the brother was doing an interview, and the brother said, and don't quote me, but it's pretty close to this. The brother said that the project of helping his brother accomplish this lifelong goal or this feat. And the brother said in the documentary, after being part of this team to prep for it, how intense it was. And he said, this project is forcing me to pull away from who I am at my core, from the center of who I am. And that one hit me pretty hard because lately, as in like the last couple of months, I've been feeling a lot like that. Like I've been feeling that my effort, my energy toward things are leaving me feel like I'm pulled away a little bit from the core or the person that I want to be. And I know that because I've been finding myself reluctant to want to do things that I usually love to do. I've been reluctant to do workouts. I've been reluctant to go outside and do things that I once loved to do. And so I kind of did a little bit of a little deep dive on kind of where I'm at and what I'm at and what's going on. And I just realized that I'm trying to do too many things well. And as a result of like chasing improvement all the time and trying to share that with others, I've kind of gotten away from my core. And so I wanted to just kind of focus tonight's conversation on that exactly. And when I came to realize that after watching that documentary, I went into school the next day and I walked into Doug's room as I always do. And he said, "How you doing?" And I looked at him, and I wasn't planning on saying this. It just kind of hit me. I looked at him and I said, and I worked construction for many years before I became a teacher, and I swore a lot then, and I swore when I was a fisherman, but I don't really swear anymore. I'm kind of just taking that aspect of that language out. But I just looked at him and said, "I need to chill the F out." But I didn't say F. I said the full word.
Ooh.
And he kind of, that really caught him off guard. He kind of stopped. His eyes kind of popped open a little bit. And he looked at me and he goes, "Yeah, you do. You do need to chill out."
Could have told me before. Thanks.
Later that day, I was talking to another friend and I was saying, "Yeah, I was just talking to Doug and telling him that I need to chill the F out." And he looked at me and he goes, the exact same response as Doug. He goes, "Yeah, Pete, you do. You do need to chill out." And just hearing that affirmation from people who know me well was kind of cool. So I just decided to create my own little, what I'm calling Operation CFO, Operation Chill the F Out. And so I sat down and just thought, all right, what are some tactical things that I can do that will help me move back to my core and feel better about my day and feel better about what I'm doing with my energy and my attention. And I was so caught up in like chasing excellence or chasing improvement that it was actually starting to kind of have a like backfire on me a little bit. Like I feel like I was moving forward slower and I was putting pressure on myself to do certain things. And that pressure was solely coming from me. I had all these little like goals and deadlines throughout the day that I needed to complete. And if I didn't do them, then I'd be upset with myself. And I just decided to just chill the F out and back off on some of that stuff. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you said you took a deep dive, how did you do that?
It wasn't just
what did that involve, right? Like I just backed up out of everything and just kind of paused and just
just like where in my day am I finding myself like starting to feel like I'm not feeling great about what I'm doing. Like where in my day am I kind of feeling that I'm frustrating myself, and where in my day do I feel like I'm putting energy and attention that if I were to take the 29,000 foot view, that really over the long run that doesn't really matter that much. Like it matters tonight for me to have the dishes done, so when I wake up in the morning there's no dishes in the sink. But in 5 years, it's not going to matter. In 5 days, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
But like I had all these goals, like, oh, I gotta make sure the house is clean every night before I go to bed. I got to make sure the dishes are done every night before I go to bed. I got to make sure I get my workout in every day. I got to make sure that if people contact me, which they do often, I probably get, 2 to 3 texts a day from former students saying, "Hey, Mr. D, can you help me with fill in the blank?" And I don't give my phone number to current students, but when kids graduate, if I'm close with them, I'll be like, "Hey, if you want to stay in touch, feel free." And be like, "Oh yeah." So I get a lot of, "Hey, I want to lose weight. Hey, I want to get stronger." It's a lot of like fitness related stuff.
Yeah.
And I always put pressure on myself to like answer right away because that's the world that they live in is instant. And I feel like I need to match that. And so I'm going to share some of the tactical things that I did. But one of those was, I was like, all right, if someone asked me for help via text, my rule is I don't have to get to that text immediately. I have till the end of the day to get to that text. I don't want them to start pile up from one day to another.
Boundaries.
Yep. But I'm like, if I don't get to this in the next hour or 2 or 3 or 6, that's okay, as long as I reply to it before I go to bed tonight. And so that was just one little way that I was taking pressure off myself. Yeah. So I think if it's cool with you, Todd, I'd like to just kind of walk through and share some of the things that I've been doing to get closer to the center of myself. But before I do that, I'm just curious to know, when you said, and we can dive a little bit deeper into your stuff in a minute, but when you said my life has been rebalanced, what do you mean by that?
That's an interesting question. I think it's easy to get out of orbit, like out of a consent, whatever they call it, like a, you know what I mean? Like, I guess it's balance, or it's feeling a wholeness, I guess. It's easy to get out of that. And then oftentimes I look at myself and I think, well, how can I get back to that? Or how did I get so far out of what used to be my norm, or, you know, something in those terms. And like, for me, it's, you know, there's key things like I meditate or I work out, or, you know, whatever it may be. But I made sacrifices at some point, like hot tub's a perfect point. I made a sacrifice at some point to redo an area of my backyard where my hot tub was. It wasn't making me happy, even though all the things that I did in the hot tub were, you know, in a way kind of therapeutic to me. But I was like, well, I got to get rid of this thing because I need to pave way for the newness. So I'm all about that. But when I put it up and I finally got everything done and I put the water in it, I realized what a piece of my sanity I had removed. And so now every day I've sat in that hot tub, and every day I meditate in that hot tub, and it's just every day I get a bit of a bigger smile, because it's like, oh, this is that normalcy that I thought I could, you know, I don't want to say get rid of, but I thought I could move somewhere else, and it wasn't easy to move. And then I realized on the other side of that, you know, what are the results of what I've taken away from myself? And where when I take that 29,000 foot view, I look at, oh, well, I'm a little bit more crabbier in the mid morning because I don't sit in the hot tub and I don't feel good about, you know, accomplishing things in the morning, or, you know, my muscles are sore and I don't have a chance to go in there and sit and just be by myself. And so I think that's a bit of the balance. But I think in the turmoil of kind of this adriftness I've been in for the last year, I just needed to get back to the things that I counted on before that, and I don't know if it's healthy, but made me feel like I was normal. And I usually don't try to attach to something like that, but that's one thing that amounts to why I said that. Like, the balance has been restored, at least in some way. So yeah.
Yeah, I was really curious to know what you meant by that, and I think you articulated it well just there. So
yeah,
so thank you.
Yeah.
I'm finding that I love this journey to chase the better than yesterday mindset, to just to be improving, to be productive, to be more efficient. It feels good to feel like I'm moving forward with stuff. But I think that I've been putting too much pressure on myself in two ways. One, to actually make that a part of my life. And two, I'm finding it's really important for me to learn this stuff and then share it. So share it on this podcast, share it when I'm in class with my students, and share it in digestible ways that people can really apply to their lives. And I think I've been putting too much pressure on myself to do that. No one's putting pressure on me to do that, but I've just been kind of putting my pressure on myself. So I've been finding any spare time that I have is investing in that. It's either improving my physical or mental capacity, I guess you could say, or sharing that with other people. So I'd wake up in the morning, and I live by the adage, win the morning, win the day, right? So if the hardest thing I do all day is the first thing I do, that sets me up awesome for the rest of the day. So instead of following the specific workout or the program, I decided a month ago, and this is I've been doing this for about 4 weeks now. It was a month ago that I decided Operation CFO was going to go into
right.
TACT. Yeah.
Are you the CEO of CFO? Because that's.
And I said, I'm going to wake up in the morning, and I'm going to do whatever I want. Between 5:30 and 6:30 a.m. At 6:30, I'm making breakfast for LJ. We sit down as a family, not breakfast, just after 6:30. And so 5:30 to 6:30 is my time. So I can do whatever I want now during that time. I'm welcome to wake up and do a workout. I'm welcome to sleep all the way till 6:30 now if I want. I'm welcome to wake up and read. I'm welcome to go downstairs and stretch. It's starting to get a little bit warmer here, so I'm welcome to go for a walk in the morning. And when I say I'm welcome to, before that wasn't an option. I had just decided I'm the type of person that makes the morning, that miracle morning. So the fact that I'm giving myself the freedom to go about my morning the way I want is a very, very different approach for me. And I don't know that I love it, but I'm testing it out because I think I need to test it out.
Yeah. I'm interested to know, like, what are the crux of that? And like, so the first question that sprung to mind when you told me this is, when you decided you were going to give yourself this freedom or this leeway, did it sting a bit? Like your ego, you're like, oh, now I'm just being lazy, or you know what I mean? Like, because I think that's a problem. That's a stumbling block for a lot of people is, oh, I know I should be kinder to myself, but I just don't know how, or I can't find, you know what I mean?
Yeah. To answer your question, it stung way more than a bit. It was really hard. It was really hard. Because I felt like it was weakness. I felt it was like, you can't, Pete, you can't hang anymore.
Yeah. So how do you get over that?
I'm in the process of that right now.
I mean, but looking at you, you seem like you're okay with it. I mean, does it still sting, or you just like, this is the thing I'm experimenting with, and we're going to find out. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is, having this conversation with you and knowing that the world can now hear this is like the next step for me. And I think that's one of the ways that's happening is that I've admitted it to myself, and now I'm admitting it to others. And I am extrinsically motivated for sure. Like it matters to me what people think. And I like to be viewed as like the hardcore guy that gets up at 4:30 in the morning and does workouts. Like it sets me apart, I think, in a way. But like, what does that get me? It doesn't matter. That's just an ego thing. So it is hard on my ego. And I almost think that like once I take the pressure off myself, then I'll probably just go back to it, because that's what I've chosen to do in the past. But right now I'm not. And there is mornings that I sleep till 6:30, and there is mornings that I just get up and stretch, and there is mornings that I go down and crush the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the ways.
Yeah. But you tell yourself though, like, it's okay. Like you give
and I don't beat myself. Yeah. I'm truly not beating myself up about it, because I'm almost looking at this as like an experimentation stage. Not this is something I've committed to for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Nice work.
School has stayed the same. School's great. I absolutely friggin' love being a high school teacher. I just love it so much. I can't even describe. I go in every day and those kids just fill me up. Oh, I love them so much. It's amazing. I'm so grateful to be there. I just really, really love it. So Operation CFO doesn't really apply to school for me. School's all good. It's my hours at home is where I'm kind of putting this focus thing in. So after school, something I'm continuing to struggle with, but I'm going to continue to try is to put my phone away and be present with my family.
I've seen it. Good job.
From those 3 or 4 hours. Yeah. I almost feel like I need the people that I text regularly just to say, hey, if you send me a text and you don't hear back from me until after 7:30 when LJ goes to bed, like that's just something I'm working on in my own life.
You should. That's a good thing.
I'm still not there. I still love to go on and look at like my finances and like the stock market and that type of stuff. But I can do that stuff after LJ goes to bed, and I just need to not.
Yep.
The other thing that's been super helpful is I would beat myself up about going down the YouTube rabbit hole. And now I've just said, no YouTube. Like you just can't go on YouTube because it doesn't end well and you don't feel good about yourself. So just don't do it. And I haven't been on YouTube in a month now, and I feel like my life is better because of it.
Well, you got more time.
Got a little bit more time. Yep. So then after school, so I kind of jumped ahead. I get home from school most days and do a workout, and my workout now is whatever I want it to be and whatever my body's telling me is okay to do. So I'm not following a strict program. I spent the last year lifting heavy. It's the strongest I've ever been in my life at age 45, which is kind of cool. I feel like a lot of 45-year-olds look back when they're like in their 20s, like, oh, I was strong back when I was 20. I think it speaks more to just how weak I've been throughout my whole life. But the strongest I've ever been was this year. And that was really, really fun and really, really cool. But I was relentlessly committed to a very regimented, periodized program. And now I just, for now, and I don't think it'll stay this way forever, but for right now, I go down to the basement and do whatever workout I want. And I've been crushing it. Like I've been doing some really, really good workouts, but I don't have to follow a program right now. And if I want to go down and do strength, I'll do strength. If I want to go and get my heart rate up, I'll do that. If I want to mix them up, I'll do that. If there's something I'm trying to achieve, I'll work on that. But it's just like whatever I want to do. And that's taking some pressure off And I think part of the reason why my back is spasming is because I just wasn't giving it what it needed, and I was kind of stressed out, and some things were kind of evolving in my life. So it's really fun to just go down and do whatever workout I want. I still think that I'm training because I have a focused approach to my workouts. They're not just like kind of willy-nilly, but I'm not married to doing this thing on this day.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah. Well, the hard work pays off is tough.
Yeah, that program was insane. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Then I put LJ to bed, and then normally after LJ goes to bed, I do dishes, and I would always listen to some sort of self-improvement, chasing excellence, some sort of podcast that's going to make me better and is going to give me information that I can share with other people to help make them better. And I've decided I'm taking a break from that, and I just listen to music when I do dishes now. So just nice, easy, chill music. No pressure on myself to be better, to learn to be better, to try to make other people better. Just enjoying listening to the music and getting the dishes done.
Wow.
So that's been cool. And then every single night, I've been taking a bath. It's like you say about the hot tub, like taking a bath before bed is one of like the absolute like golden jewels of my day. I absolutely love it. And with my back being tight, like it's so great. So, and in the bath, I'm welcome to read a book or watch a movie or a documentary or anything like that, which has been great. So I'll take like an hour-long bath. It's great. And that's before it was like, wow, I'm using propane, I'm wasting water, I'm spending money on energy. And I'm just like, okay, like, yep, I work, I have a job. Like I've decided
I'm paying for it. So it's fine.
This is one of the ways I'm going to spend my money on. Yep. So I take a bath every night, which is so healing and so amazing.
Wow.
After the bath, I no longer have a strict bedtime. Before it was, I had to be in bed by this time so that I could be up at this time. And now I can go to bed whenever I want. And sometimes I go to bed at 8:30. I went to bed before 8 last week, and sometimes I stay up till 10. I don't typically stay up past 10, but I am free to stay up as late as I want. And then when I climb in bed, I read, and I've always had a rule where I have to alternate fiction and nonfiction books. So I read a fiction book, and then I follow up by a nonfiction book, and so on and so forth. And now I'm such a renegade. I can read whatever book whenever I want. I don't have to follow those rules. So I'm on my third nonfiction book in a row right now.
Wow. Nice work.
Yeah. And then after I put the book down, I listened to a podcast, and oftentimes it was like, again, improvement related content podcast. And now I just listen to whatever I want. I can listen to funny stuff. I can listen to fitness stuff. I can listen to whatever podcast I want. There's no pressure for me to like fall asleep trying to be better.
Wow.
So this constant cycle to be better, I think has blunted my ability to be better, if that makes sense. And I think that chilling out on that and backing off on some of that stuff is going to have a better return in the long run. But I can't even look you in the eye and tell you it's more enjoyable for me, but it's just, it's less pressurized, but I kind of like the pressure. That's why I say it's like enjoyment and pressure don't.
Well, you've been doing it for so long, right? Like that, like,
yeah,
that's always been your foundation. And so now it's kind of being shaken. Yeah.
So I can do any of it, but I don't have to, and I can't, and I'm not going to be disappointed with myself if I don't.
Good job.
So Operation CFO in full effect. So sometimes I even go to bed with some dishes in the sink. I go to bed with some toys out in the house, and I'm all right with it. I think.
Yeah, it's been okay so far. Anyway,
I'm still alive.
Yeah, right. I mean, the world's not gonna end because the dishes aren't done. But I know how you feel. Like I've shared this a million times in the podcast, but like the floor is always dirty. You know, it's just like at some point, it's who cares? Like, I mean, everybody else has the ability not to care, and I hold a grudge against other people because they don't care as much as I do. But how is that to run through life? Like, I'm going to be so irritated that you're not as irritated as I am about this irritating thing. Like, what is that? So yeah.
You even know, like last week I canceled the recording. Like I haven't canceled the recording since we started this thing 2 years ago. Yeah. I've always just kind of found another day to do it. And people are like, hey, how come an episode didn't come out last week? Because I was on vacation with my family. We didn't go anywhere. We didn't get on a plane, but I just didn't feel like editing an episode last week. So we didn't produce one.
That's so freeing for me that you're telling me this story, because sometimes I was like, oh man, I wonder if Pete canceled that show because I wasn't available, or because I get kind of flaky sometimes. I'm just like, right now is not the right time, or blah blah blah. And then you didn't call it. I was like, oh man, maybe he's like, my mind just started racing. Like, Pete's getting looked for another host. I don't know what's happening here. And so it's interesting. I remember a long time ago you hinted about Jay, your brother, and you were like, he doesn't reply to texts until he wants to, or like he takes a long time to do it. And I remember thinking to myself in my mind as I heard you say that, like, you're longing for that. Like, there's something about that you really like, and that was months ago. So I applaud your awareness and your newfound bravado to go forth and just kind of let it go. It's hard.
Well, thank you. I'm nowhere near him. Like, he'll have like 86
you don't need to be
texts
him.
on his phone.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to make some progress there, and I think it'll help.
Yeah.
me.
Do you pull that into into your class, into your teaching? Like, let these kids know. Like, yeah, I found out that this was too hard. Like, other people around me weren't telling me, and I stumbled upon this, and now I'm on this exploration. You know, like, it's okay to change yourself. It's okay. You know, like, I think that a lot of people miss that. Like, a lot of people, they feel like they always have to hold that bar, and I'm that way for sure. Like, I've held this bar for so long. If I go back now, I'm just going to look like I gave up, or I couldn't do it anymore, or there's some weakness that snuck in, and you don't have to feel that way. And I think it would be fundamental for you to share that with your students, or at least, you know, try to be like, here's what happened and here's what I'm doing about it.
Yeah, to answer your question, I've had what I just shared with you and the listeners, I've only shared with a couple people.
Yeah.
And then sharing this with you tonight so that our family of listeners can hear it was the next step for me. It still feels very new. It's only a month.
Yeah.
And I'll share it with my students at some point.
Yeah.
I used to do an activity with my students called Ask Me Anything. And at the end of the semester, they could ask me anything and I would answer the questions. And oftentimes that drove some of our episodes. That has become such a thing in my class that every week now, I put a piece of paper in front of them. I say, ask me anything. And then I answer one a day over the course of the week. So I answer,
Nice.
we practice holding perfect posture, like in our seats. And I just answer the question and talk for like a minute or 2 minutes. And that's been really cool. So I will kind of address that soon, but this is still so new that I haven't pulled it into my classes yet.
Yeah. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks. When you texted me that balance had been restored, and I'm thinking, I'm in the midst of Operation CFO right now. I thought that was kind of a cool chance for us to kind of share where we're at.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to see how it works out. So liberating to do what you want, not feel bad about it. That's the hard part, is not feeling bad about it. For me, like,
yeah. For me, it's like I feel like the stuff that I was doing was yielding results, and I think that what I'm doing here is also yielding results, just in a different arena. And it's like, am I going to be okay with giving up the results in those other places? Like the results that I was getting physically from doing 2 workouts a day. I'm not doing 2 workouts a day anymore unless I feel like it, you know?
Yeah. So in some ways it's a trade-off, right? So you were looking for, can I feel better over here about myself if I don't hold myself to this bar over here?
Yeah. Does that make sense? Like,
totally.
I feel better in that I'm putting less pressure on myself on my day to day, but I'm not achieving as much as I don't know, maybe what I say I want to achieve in the day. So, but I am achieving just in a different way. And it's where do I want to feel like I'm, as I said in the beginning of the episode, where I'm at my core or where I feel centered.
Yeah.
And I think that this approach, the one that I just shared, is good for my mind, but I also think it's good for my relationship with my wife and my daughter too.
Yeah. It's sobering is really what it is, because you'll never know until you take the step to change. And then, like, you would have never known what the repercussions or what the benefits could be had you just kept on the straight and narrow, right? Like, I think that's another key indicator of not only your maturity, but your willingness to go into the storm is, I know that, well, I mean, especially because your friends told you, no doubt, like, you were way overloaded, right? Like, you could have told me that a long time ago. Thanks, guys. But it's like, you know, if you don't ever explore it, how are you going to know the depth of the cave, right? Like, I think that's another part. Is like, that's the scariest thing, but, you know, and then being open and receptive to any feedback that comes in. Like, your wife probably has something to say about it, and she's probably like, well, this is way better. You don't have to worry about these dishes now. I don't feel like I'm living in a regime. So I'm excited for you. I think that's really cool.
When I shared Operation CFO with one of my friends, the first thing he said was, Pete, I view you as trying to live the perfect life. Nobody can live the perfect life.
Yeah.
And that was, I didn't realize that he viewed me that way.
How long have they been letting you get away with this?
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, how will you know when it's, like, how are you gauging it? Just by the way you feel, or like,
I don't know
yet? Oh, okay.
I don't even know how to answer that question right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of got to have an approach, or else you might be doing what you want.
Yeah, I got to figure that out. Yeah, because we often talk about, right, awareness, intention, action. So I had the awareness when I was just starting to feel like frustrated, like during the day, like, I don't want to go do that workout. Freaking hate doing dishes. Oh, freaking living room's messy again. And I was just getting irritated, like too easy. Like life's too short to be irritated by that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, so I'm aware now, and now I need to do something about it. So that's the intention, right? And so I need to figure out a plan. So sitting down and writing down, what's my morning going to look like? What's my afternoon going to look like with my workouts? What is my evening going to look like? That's the intentional piece. And then the action is, all right, put it in place.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember you talking about that a couple of weeks ago. Like I've taken stock of all the things I do. I remember you saying that.
Yeah. So put it into action. And so right now we're in action, right? And so it's the very beginning of March. I don't know. Do I ride this out until the school year's over and then recalibrate? Do I do it for another week? Do I do it for another month? I really don't know. I'm measuring it in that I do feel more chilled out during the day.
Yeah.
I do feel more relaxed.
You know what the trigger was, so you know exactly. That's so funny, triggers. Yeah, you should read that book. I've been talking a lot about triggers. It's so funny you say that too, because I feel like it's crazy. A lot of times you and I are like in sync, but so far away, but not fully in sync with like all the things, like just these little nuggets that come up. I was talking to my wife the other day. I can't remember what the subject was. I did something that was completely outside of what I would usually do or something. And I said, I can change whenever I want. And she looked at me and she was like, wow, that's the first time you've ever said that. And I was like, well, I mean, it's true. And it's like you were saying, like once you say it audibly to somebody, it like diffuses all of the ties to your own psyche, right? Like, oh, now I've said it. And so I kind of, in that way, I've given myself permission to do that now. And so now that's coming, and now that I think I can change whenever I want to. I mean, I could be a totally different person next week, or I could go drive a forklift at Costco. Like I could do whatever I want. I don't have to carry this shame or this burden about the way I see myself or the way that I anticipate or feel like other people see me. And so once that washes out, it doesn't really matter because now I'm just doing it for me. And I wish I would have figured that out a long, long time ago, and it's not easy to keep up.
You said just now, the way I anticipate other people to see me, but straight up for me, it's the way I want other people to see me, right? Like I want to be known as a hardcore dude that wakes up early in the morning and does workouts. I want to be known as the guy who's always available. When you send him a text, he'd give you a response ASAP. Like that extrinsic motivation is big for me, but I need to start to let that go a little bit.
Yeah. I think in the process, you might realize that bar is that the line is too heavy to tow. Like you can't keep that going forever with your sanity, right? Like
that's exactly what I experienced the last couple of months is like, this is not sustainable.
Yeah. That's good. Good on you with the awareness tools. That's awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
The other piece that I'm just going to share, when I look at the analytics of this show, like 95% of people that listen to this show listen right to the end. It's really cool. The average time that people listen to is almost the entire length of the show.
Wow.
Just when we start to sign off is when it drops off a little bit. So those that are still listening, question I get quite frequently is, hey, I want to lose weight. What do I do? And I've shared some of those tactics in the past, but 2 months ago, so 8 weeks ago, I just wasn't feeling great I spent the whole last year lifting heavy and eating everything in sight so I could be really strong. And I just gained a lot of body fat along with that. That's part of the process. You gain fat, you gain muscle, you lose some of the fat, you lose some of the muscle, you have an aggregate gain over time, right? And I just wasn't feeling great about the amount of body fat that I was carrying. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to lose some of this fat. And 8 weeks ago, I made 2 changes. I stopped eating after dinner. So I stopped eating about 3 hours before bedtime. And I stopped eating peanut butter because I'd buy my own jar of peanut butter and just crush peanut butter all week long. I don't typically eat a lot of processed sugar anyway, so that wasn't a major change, but I was just like, I'm just not going to eat any processed sugar. I'm not going to eat any peanut butter. I'm not going to eat after dinner. And I don't own a scale. I don't want my health measures to come by a scale that I step on every day. But when I go to the doctor, I step on the scale. And I've been going to the doctor more frequently because of my sleep apnea and all this stuff. So I went to the doctor 8 weeks ago and I stepped on the scale. It was the heaviest I've ever been in my life. I was 189. Nice. Yeah. I was really psyched about it because it's the strongest I'd ever been. I had a couple weightlifting, like lifetime weightlifting goals that I hit. I deadlifted 405, which is a big deal for me. And then I was like, all right, no peanut butter, no late night food, and just going to stay with no processed sugar. And those changes, I went to the doctor today and I stepped on the scale and I was 181. So in 8 weeks, I've lost 8 pounds. So basically a pound a week, just not eating late night and not eating peanut butter. So
Yeah.
when people often ask me, oh, what are some strategies that I should use? I would say drink a lot of water, as I always do. Eat as little processed sugar as you possibly can, and don't eat after dinner.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
just a little tangible takeaway for some people out there. I didn't change anything else. I didn't change my workout regimen. I didn't change anything. I just stopped eating at night.
Well, I mean, you kind of did though. You removed some stressors, right? Like stress is a huge undercurrent of all those things, like weight gain and I don't know. Yeah, and you also have a different opinion about how you feel about yourself. So I think that also plays, but maybe not in a week. But I'm just saying, like you're twisting a lot of knobs at the same time. So
twisting a lot of knobs, and I've also lost a ton of strength. Like it's crazy how my body just cannot retain friggin' strength. Yeah, it's so frustrating. I'm so much weaker than I was a month ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, but you're just maintaining. I mean, I don't think that's. I mean, without a intentional, like you were saying, like I've been working out twice a week, like really hard. I think that, and we've talked about this before, but I heard it somewhere where after a certain age, you're just mitigating loss, and that's kind of how it works. So kind of like your eyesight, you just gotta have to. Well, I guess I'll just wait till these eyes. I get an opportunity to get a new eye. Yeah. So yeah.
Anything else from your end as far as balance or any thoughts you have in regard to what you have going on?
For me, it's very eye-opening to hear you say those things about yourself after I've known you for quite a while. And I don't know, but it's been quite a while, but I feel like I know you in a deeper way than definitely I ever thought I'd know you. And we have this kind of back and forth rapport about all these different topics. And I've always thought to myself, you're kind of like me. Like we just go balls to the wall on everything that, that we think we should be doing. And I always think to myself, I can't keep that up. And now it's very awesome to hear that I'm not the only one that thinks that way and has those realizations every once in a while. So thank you for that.
In the beginning of the conversation, when you were talking about reestablishing your hot tub routine,
you
used the word balance. And early on in our podcast journey, we talked in length in one episode about how we both freaking hate balance.
Yeah.
And how we think balance should not be a driver. And I was thinking about what I was going to say before I came down to record tonight. And I was like, I don't know, maybe this approach is more balanced. And like, I purposely have not said that because so many people are like, oh, I just want balance in my life. I'm like, I don't want to be saying the same thing as everyone's saying, but
yeah,
maybe there's a piece of that that's real. And I'll continue to explore that.
Yeah. I always think about balance because I have such a hard time finding it. Like a have you ever seen a really big, I think they call them mobiles. It's got like a bunch of different counterweights things and it hangs from the center. You know what I'm talking about? Like you have your baby.
Mobile. Yeah, you make them
mobile.
You make them in art class when you're a kid.
Yeah,
you used to make them from coat hangers.
Yeah, I recently saw this giant one, like this some highfalutin art guy was making these huge ones somewhere, and I thought that's the balance. Like everything doesn't have to be proportionate, and you're gonna have to hang it up there, and it's not going to be pretty when you hang it up there. But once it stabilizes, that's the balance, right? And I think that all of the things in our life are always changing at such a pace, or even if we make the pace more feverish, I think that the balance is when you step back and look at it. It's not how you feel in the moment. Although there are indicators, like you were saying, like I felt irritated, whatever. Like that's when it's really out of balance, right? But if you're able to back out and just let it stabilize and see what happens, I think that the things that we put in along that structure are the things that eventually fill us up, and we know which ones are the heaviest weights, and we know if we add a little bit over here, this side's going to go a little lopsided. But it's being able to see those things and then being willing to slide them and move them around, I think I know procreation is like the meaning of life, but I think finding balance or playing with the balance and finding what balances you best is a huge part of why we're here and how we operate. So
yeah, I think we seek peace of mind. And balance, I think, is a part of that equation.
Yeah. Well said.
Awesome. Yeah, to all the listeners out there, it's so cool to have you along for this journey as we continue to just have great conversations and kind of dive into different aspects of our life. Love that you take time out of your life to give the attention to our voices and our thoughts. And if there's any thoughts that you have, don't hesitate to reach out to us in any way that works for you, especially schoolingstruggle@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We so very much appreciate your ears. We thank you for your time. We are incredibly grateful for your attention. On behalf of my friend and co-host, Mr. Todd Ellis, we are the School and Struggle Podcast. We are out.
See ya.